Okay, good night again. Good night again. So this will be another microscopic examination. I prepared 4 slides. I cleaned. I mean, they're not new slides. I used like ones from before. I cleaned it. I really need to buy new ones because I know from from experience that cleaning the slide is not really a good idea because it's never really gets cleaned, and especially that since the life forms that we deal with are not like regular carbon-based life form. These ones stick sometimes they stick very hard to the glass to a point that you can't really even like scrub it off. So but for now it's okay. Since I mostly didn't I cleaned it right after pretty quickly, so it shouldn't be that much of a problem. So we have 2 slides from the Crucible, like outside. I must tell you that the Crucible outside, it's like, on the window, it looks like crap. Like, it really is disgusting. Like, because of course it stayed for weeks, like, on the window, and I didn't light it for a couple of weeks, I think, like, because I concentrated in other things. So, it's probably full of like, shitty life, biological life forms that won't burn for a long time. It doesn't look like something that I'm going to eat. In contrary to the smaller Crucible that are here, the newer one that I have, actually eating like a few, spoon of that. Not recently. It was like a week or 2 weeks ago. But I survived. They didn't kill me. The 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know, like spoons, in sandwiches, like So I'm still alive, I guess. It should be said that the elimination of the neurons from my body was taking place just now, because of not then, because the other examinations after that, and I've seen neurons in my my semen and my pee, like as usual. Anyway, one was taken from like the upper layers of the Crucible and one from the lower levels. And also I've taken 2 samples from the metal container, the large container where is the bulk of the material. Where I have many containers, but it's just like a large one made of metal with a lot of wax. So one slide is taken one sample is taken mostly from the water, and the other one was scraped from the wax because there is like a huge wax, like beeswax that's floating on the top. So let's see what we have in those various samples. When I think that I would say that, I think that let's see what you have in the slides of the metal container without the new kind of additions. But in the previous video, I've seen, the 4th slide was taken from the water of the container, but with additional salt, sugar, and baking soda quite a bit. And I think it was successful because we've seen a very, very nice population of neurons, very large ones and fat ones and big, and looks healthy. And so it was kind of successful. What I think that I should do, actually I planned to do it, last time, but I actually didn't do it eventually. But if you remember, I wanted to do the same, the same procedure with the salt water container. You remember, I have a container that is based on salt water, that was taken from the Mediterranean. This one, it stinks as hell. It's unbelievably stinky. It says the worst smell of all, much worse than pee. I don't know what makes it smell so bad, but and you can see all sorts of disgusting life forms, non-microscopy life form in it. It's disgusting as hell. But as disgusting as it is, it was proven to be a very good. It's not just salt water. It's salt water, from the Mediterranean with oil and some other stuff, and of course Nero juice. And yes, it was proven to be very successful. We've seen quite a bit of time that I've checked this container, and the Neros are thriving in it. So what I wanted to do is actually to take an examination of it, part of it, and put it in another empty jar, maybe this one, and add again salt and sugar and baking soda, to see if if it's it will kind of help to enhance the creation of new neurons or maybe new life forms. And actually the reason why I kind of forgot to do it is because it's really stinky. I try not to mess too much with this container, but yeah, I should do it. So I'll do it maybe later. But let's take a look at the various slides. See what's. So we start from the Crucible. Probably we'll see more stuff in the second two, like the ones from the metal container, because it was kept in sealed and not outside, and so it's, shouldn't be affected by the elements or the neighbors or radiation or starships or aliens or shabakniks or whatever. But I mean, maybe we'll see some stuff also in the in the things from the Crucible. And as I said, I want to make cookies of it, so it should be helpful to see what's inside the material, like that we want to make cookies from. So we will know what is to be expected from the cookies. This is not a life form, it's just, the edge of the slide, like the sellotape that... So we see some Neros, but mostly smaller ones. Not really impressive, but not in annihilation. There wasn't an annihilation. We see Neros, yes. There are Neros here, yes. Not huge ones, but nice ones. Nice ones. Certainly bigger than what you can find in my body, and most certainly in any other person's body. Because again, the ones that are grown in laboratory, whether with electricity or fire or in the ecosystem pest, are always much bigger, because they were grown in even though it's not a lab, it's not like a lab in the movies that cost $1 billion and everybody wears white. It's kind of room in a hostel for homeless people, but it's still laboratory condition. It's not my body. This one is very nice, actually. Let's take a look, deeper look. Yeah, very nice one. Yes, and healthy, very healthy and nice one. So we don't see, tremendous amount, but we see pretty much, there's a hefty amount, both small ones and pretty big ones, not huge ones, but nice ones, I would say. So maybe we'll even look try to do even zoom, some more zoom. Maybe we'll be able to see something. It's not that easy. I need to clean this microscope, and of course, if I had money, I would have bought another microscope, which is much better. This would have been a great help. But for now, I'm using this microscope, and hopefully, I'll have another one in the future, better one. But we don't. It's difficult to see something very, We don't see small ones. I cannot focus on very small ones. Okay, never mind. But we see quite a bit of big ones, which is nice. This is a life form, the sausage type. It's pretty disgusting. And here we see both life forms and obvious Neros, that fight them, that kill it. As was their way, that's the way. That's what I like to do. Here we see all sort of a smaller side or medium-sized Neros, which is nice. This looks like a Nero that is mutated to become something else, and this is also. This looks like a Stargate, actually, because what's inside is so different than what's on the outside. This looks like a Stargate. Many times you see neos like that, and this is quite, I mean, nice. Even sometimes much nicer even than even that. Actually, how aesthetically pleasing it is also, I mean, depends not just on the neo itself, but on the mixture. As I said, like, I mean, like, I mean, liquid, like, I mean, not very thick, like thin, but I mean, dark mediums tends to, I mean, produce like nice visual effects, because the neos are like, you see like the lights, I mean, like, so, you know, through the stargate in a very visually pleasing way. Okay, nice. So, not bad at all. Especially since it was taken from the upper layer that are, I mean, pretty much, you know, more exposed to the element. So this one is again from the Crucible. It's a thicker sample that was taken like from the bottoms, like the bottom layer of the Crucible. I hopefully this will contain more neos. Generally, I mean, from experience, we know that like right after the burn, like after we light the Crucible for some time, you can actually find like the highest concentration of neos in the top layer, like whereas the burn was the hottest, like when there was the oil that was burned. I don't know if it's intuitive or not, but I mean, we've seen it in many experiments already, so it's like that. Probably because that's where, I mean, they were created, like, I mean, as part of this, this experiment. But after some time, I mean, when you let it rest, you mostly see, I mean, from experience, more neos like in the bottom layers, which makes sense because they like oily, like, I mean, they don't like oxygen and they don't like water so much, even though they can live in water for some time, like, but it's actually not like a good place to preserve them. So I mean, so obviously that attracts, like, I mean, and also gravitates like to the bottom layer where there is more oil. I mean, this is also true for the Crucible. For the metal container, it's not necessarily true because the wax actually and the oil actually floats. Like, I mean, you know, because both oil and wax they float like on the water. Like, it's not the water, it's maybe, but I mean, it's made. Of course, it contains a lot of H2O. So in the wax, like in the metal container, I mean, the most neos, I mean, are concentrated like not really in the top where there is also like junk and mold colonies, like synthetic mold colonies, and not in the bottom where it's like it's too watery, but on the middle where it's like, I mean, there is the oil and the wax. So not many neos. Maybe it's too thick and I cannot focus. Maybe I placed too much material, but not really. I mean, far less than before. I mean, so maybe it's just, I mean, that the bottom layers were not like, I mean, did not contain as much as oil as I thought they will. No, we see something that looks like neos. I mean, this one for certain, but not, I mean, you know, I mean, far less than, I mean, we've seen like in the previous one. I mean, okay, so probably, I mean, I've taken this like sample not from a very good like place, and like maybe the bottom doesn't contain enough oil. I don't know what. So yeah, I mean, we've seen some, but much less than, I mean, than I mean on the other space sample. Yeah, so I mean, it was taken from a completely different place in the Crucible, from the depths, from the down under, and the other one was from the top. I mean, so and it's mostly, I mean, the question is where the oil exists, I mean the oily environment, because that's where they like to be. Okay, so I mean, so we learned the lesson that they like to be I mean, that after some time, I mean, it's mostly on the top, probably because that's where, I mean, the oil is concentrated. Okay. This is not a good slide, but it's not. I don't have many. I mean, I don't have any slides actually now, and I don't want to try to start maybe because I want to actually now, clean this crucible, I mean, to make cookies out of it. I will take another sample, and again from more of the top layer, to see that, I mean, it actually contains the neos, I mean, we've seen in the other one. Just, I mean, so you know that it's not a kind of I mean, a lucky slide at end, because I want to create cookies of it. So I'll take another slide, I mean, after I finish with this video. But let's first watch the two samples from the metal container. One is mostly water, this one is mostly water, and the second is more beeswax, from the upper, I mean, from the beeswax layer. Definitely see neos here. I mean, of medium size, I would say. Yeah, mostly medium size. This one looked like a neo that was kind of changed its form a little bit. Maybe it's a good place to zoom in. We see I mean, robots, yes. I mean, they exist. It's not that it's void of them. Just, I mean, not terribly, I mean, not a huge amount, but this is another kind of I mean, a twisted neo that changed its form. We don't see terribly a lot, but I mean, we see enough, I mean, not to be worried that, I mean, something very incredible happened, that should, I mean, make us worried. Let's just, I mean, zoom a little bit and get, I mean, so yeah, I mean, we see some flow, which is nice, and neos in the flow, which is great. Okay, this is a neo and another one, so we see small ones. This is nice. Okay, not incredibly interesting result, but not bad ones. I mean, generally okay, I would say. Let's take a look at the other sample. Nice to see, right? I mean, from the start we see more Neos and like with all sorts of shapes and sizes. Looks promising. Yeah, so this is more promising. It's so maybe yes, again it was taken from the box, where I mean mostly we see more of them. We see many Neos here and all sorts of like sizes. Not the biggest one, but certainly big. I mean big and medium, which is great. Okay, so this one is better, as expected, because, you know, of the fact that it was taken from the wax layer. You see much more than the other one. So I don't want to dig too much into it. I mean, yes, I mean, just to know that everything is fine in the container. That was the main kind of like, you know... It should be said that, I mean, it was actually much better in the smaller container that was taken from the same, like it was the same, you know, it was taken maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago from the same container, but it contained more salt, sugar, and baking soda, which means that, I mean, you have some kind of evidence that it's actually helpful. I mean, I have no more baking soda actually. I'm almost over with it, but it's kind of like, I mean, good news. Like, I mean, that this can actually help, like, I mean, to rejuvenate like the container when it's kind of like tired, a little bit of tired. Because it's a little bit of tired, even though we see tons of Nero dry here, so I mean, it's not very tired. It's really good, I would say. Just that, again, this was taken from the wax, and they mainly like to concentrate on the wax and not on the liquid. But there is a hefty amount of wax over there. It's not like, I mean, just a thin layer. So, like, I mean, we have like, you know, very billions. I mean, most probably billions of Neros like in this metal container, which is nice. So maybe I'll take another examination, and maybe I don't know if like I feel a thing, or maybe I'll just start, you know, immediately with kind of like the making the cookies. But first of all, we need to continue with the paintings, you know, the yellow and the red paintings. So I'll do it before further examinations and starting of the, you know, the cookies, the clay cookies. Please rescue me and my daughters from the Nazi prison. We need arms and legs, not mouths and tongues.